Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
This story takes us to one of the most haunted inns in America, in perhaps the most haunted city. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. Today we're talking about the Farnsworth Inn in Gettysburg. And some people claim Gettysburg is the most haunted city in America. Thoughts?
I guess what is numbered? I don't know, what even a top 5 ranking is.
Well, Philly, there's a lot of stuff that happened in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but is Philly in a top 5?
New Orleans.
So I think of New Orleans, Salem. These are places that come in mind that are spooky, but
yeah. But is
Savannah,
Salem actually
Georgia.
Haunted, or is it just the face of the witch trials?
I don't know. So I say Salem, but it's the place that always comes to mind is spooky, haunting happenings.
But anyway, I think Gettysburg is up there. I mean,
right, but I just don't know the most haunted, because how do you quantify that? The most number of haunted locations,
most ghosts, yeah,
per ghost. That'd be pretty interesting. It's no, we beat you out because this one hotel has 6 ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know, but
spirits.
Some people say it's the most haunted city, and the Farnsworth House Inn claims to be one of the most haunted inns in America. And we got to eat dinner there.
Yeah. Wait. When did we eat dinner?
Sweeney's Tavern.
Oh, Sweeney's Tavern. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few parts of it. There's the inn, there's the tavern, and there's the beer garden. But let's talk a bit about the history. The house was built in 1810, and an addition was built in 1833. It's named for General Elon John Farnsworth, who led a charge following the loss at Pickett's Charge that then resulted in his death and the death of 65 of his soldiers. The person that built it was his father-in-law.
Gotcha. So was that a successful charge?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just wanted to be sure.
And the house itself was said to shelter Confederate sharpshooters during the Battle of Gettysburg. Allegedly, the person that shot Jenny Wade shot from this inn.
Interesting.
I know, because I was thinking of, but it makes sense because it's across that street, But I think it's interesting because Jenny Wade was a season 1 place that we covered.
I don't know. I have a hard... I guess they could have had different windows or something at that time.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And
but
they could have even been in the grass.
Okay, because I'm thinking of how that building faces. Jenny Wade's a good. I don't know if there's an angle to even shoot at the house.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a ballistics expert.
Right. But there are over 100 bullet holes in the walls of the inn, and after the battle, the house was converted to a field hospital. Now, Harvey Sweeney owned the house during the battle, and the tavern there is named after him, Sweeney's Tavern. That's where we got to eat dinner. They also offer Victorian-themed rooms to guests and a dining experience that they say is reminiscent of the Civil War area in their fine dining room.
That sounds pretty cool.
The attic actually houses a collection of Civil War artifacts, which is very interesting. So there's a lot of history here, energy from that history, but also there's the objects that could have spiritual ties.
Sure. Or, the field hospital, people dying there. There's a couple places. Or the people being shot there from the sharpshooters that were there.
That's what I'm saying. There's the actual house itself and the history around the house,
okay.
As well as the ties to objects.
Right.
In 215 years, the house has only had 4 owners, which is really interesting. So there was John McFarland, who built the house and named it after his son-in-law. Related
to Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah, I did think that when I wrote that. Harvey Sweeney, George Black, and Loring Schultz. And Loring Schultz currently owns it.
Cool.
I just think in 215 years, only 4 owners. That's really interesting.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of places that we've covered that I think have had that kind of... Season 1, we covered New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. The convent?
The coffin.
The coffin. Casket Girls?
Casket Girls, yes, thank you.
Yeah, that was at the convent.
Oh, yeah. Is that still owned by the same group?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But
this one... I can't recall information from 2.5 years ago.
Right.
3 years ago.
So I was excited to research this place and eat here because it's allegedly so haunted that nearby inns keep rooms open for people that end up being too scared to spend the night here.
I wonder how much of that, I'm not denying out the gate or anything saying that this inn isn't haunted, but I wonder how much of its reputation precedes it and puts people in that mindset before they even get there.
I mean, sure. And you're already kind of in like the historical, spooky mindset, I think,
Right.
just by being in Gettysburg.
I would love to hear a story of somebody who didn't know it was a haunted inn and
Yeah.
couldn't stay.
Well, we've definitely got stories to get through. I don't know if they knew it was haunted or not, but the owner says that there's 16 distinct spirits here.
Do any of them have names?
I don't know. I can't remember, actually. Overall, people report feeling like something's lurking in the shadows, watching them. There are reports of actually seeing shadow figures and other apparitions quickly appearing, then fading away. I didn't really get a paranormal feeling here, did you?
No, I did not. Though granted, I admit we had her daughter with us, and my focus was like almost entirely on her.
Mhm.
And actually, I think yours was too. So
Yeah. That's true. And we were very hungry because we had just driven in.
yeah.
I think it helps that the staff is super friendly. So it kind of felt like warm and cozy.
Yeah, and I think that as well, like outside, to be clear, like you have that dining area, and then outside of that is the beer garden.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like people being happy and stuff. And admittedly, like the beer garden is very pretty. There's a lot of nice like foliage in there. It's like an actual garden.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be the easiest way to say that. It turns out the beer garden that's actually a garden. Who'da thunk?
So the room that's said to be most haunted is the Sarah Black room. Apparently, apparitions have been captured in photos when taking photos of this house from the street. They appear looking out the window. One couple that stayed in the Sarah Black room said that they felt someone kicking their bed in the middle of the night. And people also report the smell of perfume as if someone is walking past them. That's interesting to me. Because scents, we're always skeptical because fabrics and woods, well, not really fabrics, but wood and other materials can expand and contract and release scents that have been stored in them. But to have, I'm going to call it like a progressive smell that seems to be moving, that could be more paranormal to me.
Maybe. So I know I say maybe a lot. I don't know. I'm always, when it comes to smells, a skeptic. And like even in passing, because like who's to say as you're stepping and walking along the wood, like as you say, it contracts. So what if you compress the wood and release some of that smell?
That could be very valid. And the other thing in the Sarah Black room is the faucet in the bathroom turns itself on and off.
Obviously, my first thought is like, bad piping, leaky faucet, or like the mechanisms are old. But this one is more interesting to me than the smell of a perfume. But I really once you're done with that point, I want to go back to the bed kicking.
Go ahead.
So the bed kicking is clearly because you are in her bed. Get out.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Why are you in my bed? It's my bed.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's fair. I mean, it makes sense. Whether spirits are intelligent hauntings that know that they're past or non-intelligent hauntings, either way, you're still in their space.
That is a really good point because like if it's kicking the bed, there's recognition that somebody's in the bed and that's like my bed.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be an intelligent haunting, right? Or a sign of it.
Yeah. But that's not all because it seems like every room in this place is haunted, honestly. So the attic is said to be haunted. People report that there's a harp up there that plays on its own in the middle of the night.
So this one to me could be spooky, but also I could think of like a rodent or some sort of creature like
playing a harp.
Is it like a string was plucked or is it
no, it's like music.
Somebody was playing the harp.
Someone's playing the harp.
Okay, so that's a pretty important distinction. So
yeah.
I kind of rescind a little bit of what I said there.
Yeah. And if you remember, the attic is full of Civil War memorabilia.
Hmm.
So people think that it could be a young soldier that served as a musician sitting up there playing it.
Like a drummer?
Yeah, but
or a flute player?
Harpist, because it's a harp.
I don't know how many of Civil War soldiers would have been a harpist.
They might also have been trained.
Oh, very fair. Good point. Valid.
Like if you're just a musician.
Totally fair.
In the kitchen, there's the spirit of a cook who is said to be an older woman. She's seen as a full-body apparition walking through the halls and the kitchen. And she's often seen perusing the pantry shelves, but she's sometimes seen in the various dining areas, interacting with the staff. She's said to be rude to staff and will play pranks on them, like untying their aprons or pulling on their shirt sleeves.
Interesting. Something I realize we really don't do anymore, and or have not done as much. He's talking about whether or not like each ghost we think is like, could that be an intelligent haunting or just residual?
Mm-hmm.
Before we talk about this one, the harpist, do you think that was, is that residual?
I think that's just residual energy.
Okay. I think so too, but.
Yeah. No, but the cook, people identify her because she's dressed in period clothes. And so she stands out, but people might also think that she's a reenactor.
Yeah, because to be clear, and as far as I know, there wasn't any special event happening the weekend we visited, but there were people walking around in period clothes that were not just like, reenactors or cosplayers or workers, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't quite expect that.
Well, you said that aren't cosplayers. I don't think we can say that. That's kind of like what they were doing. Like they were dressing up.
You're right.
They're not workers.
They were not workers or.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, get into the spirit. Why not?
Sure. I just didn't, and this might be like silly on me, but like I just didn't expect it out of Gettysburg. But then again, it's like, well, then what other city would it be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, I guess like what other city is like kind of still super maintained in that old style.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it was cool. So there's also the McFarland room. And here guests report a woman in white sitting on the bed. When she is seen, a baby is heard crying in the closet. And this is an interesting deviation from the typical woman in white. Typically, the woman in white is looking for a missing spouse, a missing baby or something. And what's interesting about that is here it seems like her baby is right there. But they're both crying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what's the history of... Wait, what, was McFarland the first owner?
Yeah, it's just named after him.
Gotcha. Could that have been his wife? Because you said it was done by the father-in-law. So was that like his widow and baby?
Oh, like Farnsworth's? Maybe.
Yeah, the guy who led the charge?
Hey, that's a great theory, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great theory.
I have many of them.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting because it's a deviation from like the typical woman in white. Of course, I say typical. These are just rules that us, the living, are applying to the dead. So they don't have to live by our rules. Or, wow, that was poor choice words. They don't have to die by our rules.
They're already dead. How can they die by your rules?
Yep. So the Eisenhower room is also haunted. Here there's a ghost of a soldier in a gray uniform. And sometimes the ghost is silent and just salutes, but sometimes he's said to actually talk to the visitors. And I did not find any accounts of things that he had said, but I think that would be incredibly interesting. A Confederate soldier.
Yeah, it's interesting because again, it's like, was that actually a person?
Or just residual energy?
Or like, no, like was that like when it's talking, was it actually just somebody that was like a reenactor that was there?
In the bedroom?
Was it specifically always the bedroom?
It's in the McFarland room.
Oh, okay. Well, then yeah, I would be guessing like residual energy.
No, I'm going to go that this is a distinct spirit. The Jeremy room is one of the other haunted rooms there, and this is haunted by one of your favorite types of spirits.
A kitty cat.
Nope, a young child. And
so definitely a no to the dog.
Yes, and this is Jeremy, hence the name the Jeremy room. Jeremy was 6 or 7 years old, and he was killed during the Battle of Gettysburg, allegedly. And guests have reported that he's quite a trickster. They'll sometimes hear a loud bang and then see a little boy run across the room. And he'll do things like untie people's shoes, kind of like benign pranks.
Are we sure that the cook in the kitchen is the one that's been untying people's aprons, or is this actually Jeremy?
Actually, that's a great point.
Yeah, it just seems, based on the person you described, that seemed really out of character.
Yeah.
For, like a kind of mean, shrewd cook. To be like, tee, and like,
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so maybe it is Jeremy. That's cool.
But also very interesting that you say supposedly died during the battle, because apparently the only civilian casualty was Jenny Wade.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
But just died during the time of the battle. Not necessarily he was a casualty of the battle.
Well, that's an important distinction. Yeah.
And what's interesting is people will actually bring toys and leave them in his room.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. Some people say that he will roll balls across the floor in the middle of the night to play.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So you always say like, oh, I'm a child ghost, not my favorite thing. It's when it's like a really indescript child ghost.
I thought you would like this one. Like this one is, I'm going to say pretty clear cut. Could be pretty clear cut at least.
Yeah, where it's just like, oh, it's this erroneous or like, aloof spirit. It's a child, really. It just like really messes with people. I'm like, why does that classify it as a child? And what if it's not a child and masquerading as a child? Who knows?
Yeah, but Jeremy is.
Yeah. This is my tinfoil hat and I'm sitting on it, standing on it, living it.
In one of the rooms, it's not specified which, there seems to be a shadow figure. And when people see the shadow figure, they feel a heaviness on their chest. And I wonder if that's related to how the ghost died. That's not something we've talked about a lot recently.
What if it was... So the heaviness of the chest could have been... oh my gosh. I always think of the historical term, consumption.
Oh, like tightness of
the chest through... Was it tuberculosis, right?
I think so.
So... It could be that.
It could be. I was just
thinking...
The person
died of TB there.
Or a heart attack.
Yeah, fair.
They say that a heart attack is like an elephant sitting on your chest.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that. During an investigation in the Custer room, one group said that they repeatedly saw a shadow figure walking around the bathroom there. They also had a shadow figure descend from the ceiling and come towards one of them that was laying on the bed. All I can think about with this is American Horror Story. The first one.
Okay.
Where like the man in leather like comes down.
Gotcha. I can't but help think of like Scooby-Doo or like the ghosts from Oblivion, the video game. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
People say that, or not people, this group said that when that shadow figure descended from the ceiling, they felt a cold rush of air and heard a screeching noise.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it could be. It seems like they thought that it was negative somehow.
Yeah, the cold rush of air, could be explained if the window's cracked or...
Yeah.
Or something. We don't know like the full situation there. The shadow figure descending from the roof, though, is an interesting one. And so we haven't had many of those, I don't think.
From the ceiling, not the roof.
Well, sorry, ceiling, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I can't think of any that have been like a swooping... spirit, which makes me, I guess that's why like I think of like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
it was like sometimes like the ghost is like swiping at them, like flying around. Kind of makes me think of that.
Yep. The same group also investigated the Lincoln room, and they're said to be this time actually your favorite type of ghost, a ghost cat.
Meow.
They got EVPs also of gasping and choking, and were able to engage Jeremy in this room, so that kind of lends itself to your thought that Jeremy is not relegated to his room. He's moving around the inn.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I think I actually nailed that one without doing any investigation of this place whatsoever. I know I'm right.
They said that when they tried to sleep in the Lincoln room, they felt scratching at their feet and thighs and poking on their forehead. So that could also maybe be Jeremy, just messing around.
Or cat.
Or the cat. That's a great point. I didn't even think about the cat.
Yeah. I mean, how many times has our cat woken us up by smacking us in the face?
Right.
Or biting our toes?
Right.
I'm sure listeners that have cats have never experienced this.
Yeah. There are more general hauntings. They include hearing footsteps, smelling things like tobacco, blood, or perfume, objects moving on their own, electronic malfunctions, feeling cold spots or tugs on clothing, and I'm sure with 16 distinct spirits, there's a ton more.
Right. And actually, so circling back to do we think residual haunting for the shadow figure from the ceiling?
No, I think that's a distinct spirit.
Okay. What about the soldier pacing by the bathroom?
That could be residual. I would need to look more into that.
Yeah, from that description, I'd be like, oh, maybe residual. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we miss any of the other ones? Jeremy, I think is a distinct spirit, but might not be an intelligent haunting. He might not know he's dead.
Oh, well, hold on. If that's a caveat, I think that the woman kicking the bed would also be a distinct spirit, but not an intelligent haunting.
Well, that's what I was saying. That I didn't know if it was an intelligent haunting or not. An intelligent haunting means a ghost that knows that they're dead.
Gotcha. Yeah, right.
So yeah, I think it's interesting. Obviously, we've been to this location, but do you have any qualms about staying here, etc.?
No, because I think it would be, I mean, like, potentially facing some paranormal activity. It's not, like, none of it was violent, so that sounds good. I mean, I guess you could say, like, the shadow figure swooping down or the people feeling scratches on their feet, but I guess, like, what kind of scratch? Is it like a, like a swiping scratch, like something that's meant to hurt, or just like a...
I'm not sure. Yeah, I kind of had a similar reaction to you, though. I don't think I would mind staying here because while it might be super haunted, it seems like for the most part the ghosts are happy there and they're not violent. Like the woman in white is crying. The cook seems like she has a temper. But other than that, they're just there.
Yeah, and I think also, though, because one, the food there was good, and food and drink was good. The beer garden was also nice. So it's like there's things to do, and also we're back in Gettysburg, right? So
yeah,
like where this place is, to let everybody know, it's a little bit off from the traffic circle of like the historic downtown area, but there's still so much to do right along here. You're right next to not right next to. You're just what was it, like a 8-minute walk
mm-hmm.
to like the cemetery, and there's a whole bunch of shops along this little road.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Plenty to do.
I would definitely go back. I think there's a lot to experience there. And with this much history of a building, it's bound to be haunted. So I would definitely go back. I would stay the night there.
Yeah, I would stay the night. And hey, worst comes to worst, we can bail and go to the nearby inns that all have extra rooms.
Exactly. So that is the Farnsworth House Inn. If you've been and had a paranormal experience, we'd love to hear it, or any paranormal experiences in Gettysburg. Tune in next week to see what history and hauntings we discuss next. Stay spooky, my friends.